To me, obstacles are things that you see when you take your eyes off of your goal. I was really taught that there aren't many obstacles in life. I mean, the obstacles are the ones that you make, essentially. If something is blocking your path, there are ways around it. There are always going to be bumps in the road, things that are not easy, situations that may seem impossible. But if you want to achieve something, if you want to reach something, if you have a goal in mind, then you'll find your way to it. You have to plan, move forward, maybe talk to that obstacle a little, nurture it, convince it, try to get into its way of thinking, work around it, mold it, see it as a positive thing, and maybe see it as a challenge, but it's not an obstacle. Because if you want to achieve it, there are many ways to get to where you want to go. It may require things that you don't want to do, like hard work, studying, not going to that party and buckling down to try to get a good grade. I'll never forget my first year in college. I was away from home, was away from my parents, and I felt so free. Didn't have anybody to tell me, be home at 9, don't do this, don't do that. And the first semester, I almost flunked out. My guidance counselor said, I know you can do this work. And I had a small scholarship, but I had all this freedom that I never had before. And so it was all about choices. I wanted to maybe hang out and go to the party or watch a show. And when my grades dropped that first semester, I said to myself, this is where I either have to buckle up or buckle out. And essentially, the next semester I was on the dean's list because I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what my path was. So the obstacles were there. I had to make my choice. And my choice was to achieve my goal. The one thing that's helped me to stay motivated and focused to succeed is probably two things. One is the continual learning. I am not bored at all. Every day it's a new challenge. It's learning something new. It's delving into the human body a little bit more and understanding what it's all about, what it does. And so it gives me a lot of drive. It helps me I realize that there's every day I think, oh, I know more about this. No, I don't know enough. I have to know a little bit more because I'm presented with another challenge. And so the challenge is being able to learn the challenges and being able to affect a change. And affecting a change, I've also learned, does not have to be a huge, broad change, but affecting a change in one of my patients' lives. And somebody that tells me, you know, that made me feel so much better. Or I'm so glad that you advocated, that you pushed for me to get into the hospital. Or I'm so glad you called me because I just was thinking about you and I had this problem and I need to talk to you. You called at the right time. So those are the things that keep you going because you know that you're doing something positive and that it may not be on a big scale. Some of the things that we're working on, we're trying to see if we're affecting a change on a big scale. But those daily small changes are the ones that keep me going. Making a move was probably the one thing that I was most afraid of and did it anyway. I've made two moves in my life that were pretty crucial. I was born in Puerto Rico, but I was raised in New York around all of my family and friends, went to elementary school, high school in New York, and really developed my entire network was around me. And when I found out that I really couldn't afford college upstate New York anymore, I decided to move to Puerto Rico with my mom. My mom and dad were going back and forth from Puerto Rico to New York, but spending most of their time there. And I said, I want to finish college and can't do it in New York, too expensive. I was working my way through college. And I said, well, I need to live at home and finish college. And so I picked up and left my friends, left my family, my sisters, my cousins, my uncles and aunts, and went to Puerto Rico. I was with my parents, but I had left my entire network of people that I had grown up with. And so that was frightening. I had to find a job and enroll in a new school, and it was frightening. It was a scary time. But I sort of put all of that aside and said, it wasn't easy. I said, it's going to be a couple of years. I really have to stick to this. And I did, and it was fun. It was great living in the Caribbean. I went back to my roots. I found that I was at an advantage in some ways because all the college books were in English, and the primary language in Puerto Rico is Spanish. So that was very easy for me, and I ended up making friends easily because I was helping them to understand the books. And through a friend at school, I got a job as a hemodialysis technician working with kidney patients. So that opened a whole nother opportunity for me. And I developed a whole nother network of friends and expanded my opportunities and expanded my experience overall. And when I finished, I moved back to New York. The other time that was probably very frightening was leaving New York and moving to Texas. I had just gotten married, and it was just my husband and I, no children. He comes from a large family as well, 4 sisters and a brother, so a total of 6 for them, and both large families. Everything we knew and grew up with was there. And we took our journey to Texas because of an offer that I had to work at MD Anderson Cancer Center. And so that was a frightening time. And for the first 6 months here in Houston, I would look around and say, what am I doing here? And now, 21 years later, I say, wow, I'm so glad I came here. The best advice that I can give girls watching this video is the future is for those that are willing to work for it. And that saying comes from a poster that I bought when I was going away to college for the first time. And I was on Interstate 90 with my mom and my dad, and we were driving up to college, and they were about to leave me upstate New York, and we stopped at a rest stop to get some lunch. They had all the knickknacks and New York State souvenirs, and there was a poster that said, the future is for those that are willing to work for it. It's a beautiful sunset, nice sort of earth tone colors, lots of orange, and ironically, where I went to school was very similar, a very similar environment in the Finger Lakes region, upstate New York, beautiful apple orchards, and just a beautiful place surrounded by mountains. And I thought, it's a great saying. I'm going to take that. So I bought the poster, and I put it up in my dorm room on the closet door. And I kept that poster for many, many years. And everywhere that I would go, when I went to Puerto Rico, I took the poster down, and it was tattered, and I put it up in my room in Puerto Rico at home. And when I came back to New York and I started working at the other cancer center, I took the poster down and I put it up. And by that time, the poster was pretty tattered and torn, but it stayed up here. And so that's a philosophy that I've had just from that one poster that I bought on an interstate highway. And it's basically, it's simple, but it's true. If you want something, you have to work for it.